There we go. Shelter FootyCast live from BackChat Studios socials. There's Shelter FootyCast. You know where to find us at Instagram. Skeeter doesn't, but he is here. Hello, Mark Reddings. How are you, mate?
Hello, Scully. Happy King's birthday to you. If that's indeed what we're celebrating at the MCG today. Who knows what the hell's going on? I just think we should align with the rest of the country. I mean, we're already regarded like 2 hours behind and 2 years behind, exactly, seceding. Well, today, of course, we've got some footy at the MCG. It's a big day with the MND, Big Freeze, looking to hit $20 million. But yeah, big weekend, and I watched the cricket last night, and I was pretty impressed by what I saw by the boys ahead of the Ashes. So we win that, and we've got 5 more tests to go.
Can you just give me a little bit of a quick update? I was at varsity took my 5-year-old son to varsity for his birthday. No, we went to the movies and then ended up at varsity, and there was people carrying on a bit. The cricket was on, people carrying on. What happened?
Well, essentially, India chasing 400-plus runs, but Scott Boland bobbed up today and just last night and just bowled a beautiful little spell, made some breakthroughs.
Was there a chance that there was going to be a draw?
No, not really. I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, potentially, but India, I mean, they had to really guts it out for 2.5 sessions with 7 wickets in hand. It wasn't really viable. So Boland strikes. Smith takes a ripping catch to get rid of Kohli. Nathan Lyon finishes with 4 wickets. Travis Head named player of the match, and that's all she wrote. World number 1, which is terrific. That's not the biggest fish of the year, though, for them. It's just to retain the Ashes, I would have thought. So, yeah, well played to the boys, and hopefully some happy days to come over the next couple of months.
Very good. They'll have Mark Reddings there cheering on from the sidelines in a couple of months, Skeeter. So you can watch us on YouTube. Don't forget that. The Shelter FootyCast playlist over at BackChat Studios on YouTube. Jump on there and subscribe to us there. The Thirsty Camel Clanger of the Week this week, Skeeter. Don't worry. Don't run out of your favourites. Go down to Thirsty Camel and grab your shelters down there. Make sure you got one of those for me, Skeeter. And Froth Town. What we frothed on this weekend, August 18 and 19, Claremont Showground. Get your tickets at froth.town. I know exactly what I'm doing for that, so we'll get to that a little bit later on in the show, Skate. Let's get into some of the big issues. Marlion Pickett was arrested yesterday whilst in Perth over a string of different offences from around December, January.
Allegedly, yep.
Yes.
Look, it's interesting. And look, I've led to believe that he was of the understanding he was going to be questioned before or during his time in Perth, but when those charges came, it may have caught him by surprise. And yeah, look, well, we know he's had a checkered history when it comes to finding his way into the AFL, and he's had some troubles off the field previously. But this is massive news, and the Richmond Footy Club has come out and said they will continue to support him. The allegations are that he was involved in some burglaries with some commercial properties over December. So obviously, I'm assuming the police have waited until he's returned to WA to lay those charges. But that's a big decision for the club now to make, pending the decision by the courts. And off the back, the future for Marlion Pickett, you'd have to say, in footy is now a massive question mark.
And from a football sense, I mean, after probably Richmond's best win of the year against a Fremantle side that everyone had, including you and I, the momentum on their side really building. We're going to go through that game, but really disappointing for Richmond as a footy club as well as Marlion personally. West Coast, huge loss, 122-point loss, 129-point loss in the Waffle. That's some sort of amount, 151 points across the weekend, Skater. 251 across the weekend.
I actually don't know how to talk about it. Suffice to say, they lost more players prior to the game. I mean, Ryan Marrick bobs up and kicks a goal. Couple, in fact, on his debut. So, well played to him. But they had actually, when you looked at their centre square at times, they had some quality in there in terms of players. They just got absolutely smacked. And Big Tex comes out, kicks 10 in his milestone game, and Crows, we knew they'd do a number on the Eagles, but wow, that's big numbers, 100 plus.
We'll break that game down shortly, and it was the most disappointed / I reckon edgy I've seen Adam Simpson post in his press conference. Now, you can't really take too much away from the actual verbiage sometimes from press conferences post because the coaches are well trained, don't give a lot. But I just thought I'd pose the question, and he's clearly under pressure. Coach is under pressure. That there's a few starting to put their heads up. One, which I don't think you'll have on the list, but I think he would be under pressure. Adam Simpson's one of them, given the performance of the team. Now we know injuries. We know the story, but he is under pressure, right? Agreed.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got people coming out suggesting the team's not up to AFL standard. Now, that is, again, because of player availability. But yeah, you're getting beaten by 100+ points. And you know, the sad thing is, Scully, you at the footy, Eagles have been beaten by 100+, and it's not like we're in shock.
No, that's the troubling thing is we can't even speak about it because it's the same thing. After last night's performance, Michael Voss continue to be under pressure. Brian Cook, the CEO, was asked directly about his future. So I'll tell you what his response was, but when the CEO starts getting asked about the future of the coach, you know there's issues, correct? No one's asking about, Craig McRae's job with the president at Collingwood. So Brian Cook said absolutely no pressure basically whatsoever. He'll be the coach until the end of his contract, and then hopefully thereafter. He gave full support.
I think he'll be there next year. I think he'll be coaching.
Under pressure.
Of course under pressure, but they're bottom fork at the moment. So
since they beat West Coast by whatever they beat them here, and Charlie Curnow had a day out on the struggling West Coast side, don't think they've scored over 65 points, something like that. They've gone 52, 58,
well, I'll just
47.
tell you very briefly.
Thank you very much, Skeeter.
Last night, 6 goals against Melbourne. The week before, 6 goals. The week before against Sydney, 6 goals. 7 goals against Collingwood. And prior to that, the Bulldogs, 8 goals. That ain't going to win you too many matches.
They have the 2 reigning Coleman medalists, mate. How is that? That for mine is either game plan or the inability of players to...
They had many scoring shots as Essendon last night. 6-15. They kicked 6-15.
So is that a coaching thing or players? That's got to be players. That's on the players.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so. And again, I was watching the cricket, to be honest with you, so I was so disenchanted with... They just play a horrible brand of footy, Carlton, at the moment. So I saw Harry Mackay have a snapshot from 30 out around his body again and fail to make the distance. How does that be allowed to happen from a coaching perspective or a club perspective? Given if he's not making the distance from 35, why not kick a drop punt and miss and make the distance?
Steve Johnson, who would know what real successful leadership looks like within a footy club, I saw him make a comment on the Sunday Rub, Triple M yesterday, said they don't know their leadership, and this is on the players, they don't know how to lead a successful culture. And I think that's fair enough. I don't think these players have seen what success looks like, and you can't just invent that. They've had no real players come into the footy club. Adam Sard from Essendon. They don't know the successful culture, to be honest. They haven't had any guys, senior guys, come onto that list. They have Adam Chera, Blake Acres. These guys, they're not veteran winners. I don't know if this playing group knows how to win, Skater.
I'm also sure. Now, look, you're probably right, but I'm trying to think back to your time at the Eagles, and you won a flag in 18, but going back to that, I mean, I know you made a grand final in 15, but you won a wooden spoon in the late 2000s.
Yeah, but that was with Cox, with Embley, with Kerr, these sorts of guys were on the list. They knew what winning meant. They knew what you had to do to win. Carlton don't have that group of players. So that group of players taught my group of players how to lead and how to be successful and how to be ruthless and how to set standards, all of that. Like, I learned all of that in my first 5 years at footy club. Yes, we won a wooden spoon and we weren't winning, but I knew what it took to win. Carlton have never had that group. And so that no one's passed it on to anyone. Cripps and Wiedering, great players. But do they know how to lead a successful footy club? I don't think they do. And it's not even their fault, to be honest. They haven't won. So how do you know how to win if you've never won?
Yeah, well...
I'm talking about finals and winning finals.
But how do you change that, apart from bringing in personnel that have had that experience?
Michael Voss knows how to. Brian Cook knows how to.
Or except, as you say, getting into finals, learning how to win and lose, and finding out the hard way, which Carlton are not playing finals this year. And yeah, I think Voss will be there next season. I think that's locked away. But I think that you're right, there's a lot of pressure. They need to get some players back. They need to obviously do a few things to get themselves up. I don't think they're that far away.
Stuart Dew's not under pressure anymore? Or is he still under pressure? He's under pressure. Just given that there's a few names floating around.
Well, who is floating around? Damien Hardwick and Nathan Buckley. Is that it?
Yeah, probably. Kenny Hinkley, if that sort of
there's no way. I can't see Kenny leaving. But I would have thought
he's going to get a big pay deal.
I would have thought Stuart Dew is going to be coach of the Gold Coast Suns.
I think the third coach under pressure then. Do you know what I'm going to say here? Who would be the third? If Voss and Simpson are under pressure, you might not think of it. I think Chris Fagan's under pressure to keep his job at Brisbane. I think their performances away from home have been unacceptable. I wrote them off on the FootyCast on Thursday, said Hawthorn will smack them, and you know what? They did. They rocked up. They're insipid. They can't They can't roll that out week to week. You can't win a grand final anymore. They had their chance at the Gabba and they couldn't do it. You can't win a grand final if you can't play away from the Gabba, and they can't do it right now.
No, well, they won a final against Melbourne at the MCG last year, which flies in the face of all we've said about them, isn't it? No, I was with you. In fact, I was earlier to write them off the new with regards to their form away from home. Funnily enough, Lachie Neale came out after the match and threw the question back at other clubs and their record away from home, which probably, Lachie, I suspect that was just a flippant comment, but many people are saying, hey, mate, don't worry about other clubs. It's your team that is supposed to be challenging for a premiership that at this stage doesn't look likely at the ground where you have to get it done.
I think under pressure, Chris Fagan. Will Schofield, Mark Redding, Shelter FootyCast. Let's go through the West Australian side, Skeeter. Tipping, I've got our tips here. You haven't had a good one, Skeeter. No good this week so far, mate, with a game
Shocking.
to go.
It's shit. Absolutely. It doesn't matter. I've taken every 50-50. I've gone the wrong way again.
You didn't even have your roughie. You threw out some bullshit tip about Buddy Franklin retiring out in the middle of the ground, and you still couldn't get it done.
What? Mine was 100-1. Yours was a $3 pop, which I actually agree with you on the selection. So, yes. No. Every time I turn left, it's right. The George Costanza of tipping at the moment I am. And if you follow Seinfeld, that means he's an absolute loser.
I think you've got 3 so far this week,
How many have you got?
I've got 5 with 1 to go.
Yeah, no, well, you can stick it up. Seriously, some of the luck that you get with your tips.
Luck, mate. I'm an expert commentator, special commentator, special. Yeah, that's
Fremantle
right.
win the flag, West Coast to make finals. Things can go pear-shaped pretty quickly, trust me.
Adelaide defeat West Coast by 122 points. Tex Walker kicks 10 goals in his 250th. Skeet, you spoke about that. He joins Franklin, Lynch, Brown, Rewalt and Josh Bruce in current players to kick 10 goals in a match.
Yeah, well, he was getting enough supply, wasn't he? When you see at various stages Elliot Yeo get the job on the Tex.
Oscar Allen,
yeah. It was not a huge surprise that he kicked a bag and he was up and about for his milestone game. So look,
a couple of the goals he kicked were really good. I mean, he was sizzling early, kicking 5 goals in the first quarter, something like that, and he was getting it done against a really young back line. So pretty quickly, I think at quarter time, Oscar Allen's the sort of bloke that would have gone to Simo and said, put me down there. Oscar Allen debuted as a backman. He was first emergency for the 2018 grand final to come in for Jeremy McGovern. If Jeremy McGovern didn't play, and that was a genuine 50-50, on the bus to the game, Jez didn't know if he was playing or not. Oscar Allen was playing at centre-half back in the West Coast 2018 backline. So the best backline the club's ever seen. Yes, I am saying that, Skeeter. Oscar Allen was 1 spot away from it.
Hang on, the best backline the Eagles have had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Challenge me.
I would have thought just going back to the guy McKenna, John Warsall, Glenn Jakovic. There's an argument there.
Yeah, correct. And I reckon we're better. So there you go. Oscar Allen.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, no, it is. I'm just saying.
Match us up. Go.
The way you're talking, it was like it was a fait accompli. You don't rate the McIntosh.
Okay, I'd have
Jakovic.
Jeremy McGovern over McIntosh. Well, McIntosh is McIntosh me? Yeah.
McIntosh a full back.
Yeah, cool. Me. Okay. Or Tom Barras.
Yeah.
How many best and fairest did McIntosh win? None. Okay.
Centre back, Jakovic.
Yeah, Jeremy McGovern.
You taking McGovern ahead of Jakovic?
Yeah.
McKenna, Worsfold.
Hearn. Yep. Pretty happy with Hearn over one of those guys.
Yeah, I just think you dismissed that group pretty quickly.
Well, if you're going to pick one, you got to pick one, don't you? I mean, so I'm picking 2018.
Yeah.
Are you picking 92, 94?
Yeah, just to piss you
off. I don't like fighting between backlines though. Look, Oscar Allen puts himself back against Tex Walker. Tex Walker, I think, kicked 5 in the first. I think I'm right there. The last thing you need or want for a Rep Bazzo is to have Tex Walker break the goal kicking record, 25 goals in the game. You know, the supply they were getting.
Yeah.
Rep Bazzo wasn't stopping him. Oscar Allen knows he's a good player, knows he's going to be a leader of this football club. Rhett doesn't at this stage. He's too young. He has no experience. You don't need that to start his career.
And he's had everything tough in life that could go wrong for that young man in the past 6 months has.
I think it's a real positive, if you can look at positives from this game, that Elliot Yeo, Oscar Allen, we know what they're going to do. They're good players.
I'll tell you, Bailey Williams, he's probably not winning the Worsfold medal, but I'll tell you, he's probably the most improved player at the club. Is that a reasonable...
20 touches, a goal and 35 hit-outs.
I think he's really evolved since, as soon as Nick Nat was essentially put to one side for the foreseeable future, it gave him the comfort in knowing this is okay. This might not be my my one wood in terms of playing position as a ruckman, but he's embraced it. I think he's taken it on. I think, and I had some question marks about him. You still think he can turn into a really good forward, which may be the case. But I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done under trying circumstances.
Yeah, well, maybe he's put his name all over that ruck spot. I mean, good on him. I couldn't argue with you. I think he's been really improved, really good. Like you said, Ryan Marrick came in, kicked a couple of goals, really good moment. Just he's whirlwind over the last 10 days, stacking the shelves.
Did you see enough of the game and of him to suggest?
Yeah, he can play.
Yeah?
Yeah, he can play. What's he like? He's quite not elusive, but he moves well. Like he's a Jack Gunston sort of operator.
So is he a tall forward or a medium?
Jack Gunston. So Jack was 193, so he was a tall forward, but he wasn't 197. And he could move. That's what he looked like to me.
So, quick question:
yes.
if the West Coast Eagles at the start of next season have the players we think should be available and at the club,
he'll be challenging.
Does he play? Is he in their best side?
He's in the in between one.
Yeah.
So if he's probably fighting for a Jake Waterman type spot, and I think they've gone away from playing him up around the ball a bit more. I think the first sort of 6, 7, 8 weeks of this season, we started really seeing some great footy from Jake Waterman. Now he's had the finger surgery and the infection, and I think that's sort of taken him away a bit. But I think his role's changed a little bit more. I've really enjoyed him around the footy, but we aren't seeing that much anymore. That's West Coast third 100-point loss in 2023. The record is 5 times in a season. Their record or a record?
No, it can't be West Coast record. They'd only been beaten by 100-plus points prior to, in the last couple of years, a small amount of time. Might be going back to the Fitzroy days.
West Coast, no. Oh, West Coast had the same score, 2 goals, 113 in every quarter. Only the third time that's ever happened. I'm looking for positives here.
They find quirky ways. 2 goals, 3 was a number that kept popping up early in the season. But I don't know. What do you say?
Adam Simpson was furious after the game. I could see it in him. And he was furious because he said they literally just couldn't code it. Like, he couldn't code it or teach anything from that game. And I think that was around the way they defended. Anytime Adelaide got the ball, they just sliced. That they were just off to the races every single time. I mean, 177 points or something. That would point to the fact that they weren't defended very well against. And I know the injuries. I know all that, but there was just nothing. It wasn't like, well, it was a good effort, but they didn't have the numbers out there. It was just completely nothing. Adelaide got it and just sliced them apart. So he was furious. Rory Laird. I mean, Adelaide dominate. West Coast don't. That's pretty much it, Skater.
And there's not much to tell. Adelaide will be playing finals, in my opinion, and they are,
which is a story.
They are the template for the West Coast Eagles. Go back to the draft. Do it for 2 or 3 years.
High talent.
I went through the players they have brought into the club. Trade well, but draft even better.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, very hard to get immediate A-listers to your club in WA. It's not too many that come from interstate. You tell me one that's come from interstate as a like a Chris Judd went from West Coast to Carlton. There's not too many that you get it. But trading...
Redo's not an A-lister, but Redo's the one that jumps off.
Very solid. And really, I'm saying if you get your draft right, that's where they can set themselves up for the next decade.
Dawson and Rankin, they're 2 local boys, but Dawson and Rankin are
amazing pickups.
Like a captain and All-Australian, they're both All-Australian this year, right now, and to bring them in as trades,
absolutely,
that's enormous, right?
No question. So Adelaide is the template for me for West Coast going forward.
Yep.
But guess what? It took from 2018 to 2023 to put them right in the frame. 5
years. Richmond. So are West Coast 2 years into that?
It's a good question. Should I be asking you that?
Like Chesser. The Chesser draft.
Are they 2 years or 1 year?
With Jack Williams, all those
maybe
guys.
2 years, but a strange 2 years. It hasn't been a...
Yeah, and then this year you've got Ginby, you've got Hewitt.
Yeah, so you're probably right.
Got Barnett.
I reckon within 3 years, that would be a realistic expectation to be doing what Adelaide's doing.
Okay. Richmond defeat Fremantle by 15 points. We both picked Fremantle, I think.
What a surprise, Richmond. I don't think I've actually called them once this year.
What do you mean?
Well, the draw against Carlton. Outside of that... I find them a really hard team to catch. But even that being said, I thought they were a real chance on Saturday night because of the conditions, because of the bye, which I really think played against Fremantle and the momentum they had. And you felt that early. They just, apart from kicking the first, and Jai Amos was up and about playing some really good footy, I just thought they were they don't handle the wet conditions as well as
no
other clubs.
Sean Darcy, a lot of ruck contests. I think Nankervis is in 90 ruck contests or
Amazing.
something. So that's a Sean Darcy day.
Yeah.
That is how he operates. So they missed that clash. Jake O'Meara out. He's been important over this span of 4 weeks. I could tell and you were calling this game, Skate, I could tell, I know Freo kicked the first goal, but within the first 20 seconds, you could see what game Richmond was going to play. And the question was, could Fremantle
match them?
Match them. I think Richmond just got it on their terms. They got the game played how they wanted to, that frantic knock-on, play-on. It's bullshit. I hate watching Richmond play, and it's because they've been so successful, and I was on the back end of losing against them that I do. But they just make it up, and it's planned chaos, and they love it. And Freo got sucked into it, and Richmond, you can't beat Richmond like that. It's not how you beat them, and Freo got done because of it.
Yeah, and look, with a bit of rain around, Fremantle players, in my eyes at least, just weren't as clean as, say, Taranto. You talk about being clean, but he just managed to will the ball forward, got plenty of touches. My man, Shea Bolton, I'm not sure he picks up the 3 Brownlow, but he certainly gets a vote, I think. He might get 2, he might even get the 3. I thought he was really good.
At 14 in the last, 6 inside 50s in the last quarter.
And, some of his disposals were extraordinary and some of them were absolute horrors. But when he's around the footy, good things happen.
Big moment in this game. It was a chaos game. It was back and forth. Fremantle start getting a run. They were running at the Richmond in this last quarter. Ethan Hughes, of all men, put a couple of big balks on. Sent someone into the next universe. I can't remember who it was, but he was still sliding along Optus Stadium. Put another one on. Kick from 48. Huge moment in the game. Momentum all Fremantle's way. Would have put him within 3 points or something like that. Would have put him in within a kick. Nathan Broad, West Aussie, on the line. Somehow misses it. There's no doubt he missed that ball. He did not touch that ball.
Well, I thought it hit the post.
But that's the question. Does the ball hit the post? The umpire calls it a behind. He can't see, for starters. The umpire is blocked by Broad, but I think he's made the correct decision if you're going to say if that was a goal or a point, and he has to make a call. He can't say, I don't have any idea. He has to say what he thinks, whether it's a point or a goal. You know that, right? He can't defer and say, I've got no idea.
What if he was unsighted?
No, he was sighted, though. He was watching it.
Well, you're saying...
You have to call. You have to. Like I'm telling you, the rules are he has to say, okay, well, I believe my bet, I believe this is what happened. Now, he could be wrong, but he had to say something, and I think he made the right call on the chances that
hit the post.
Broad, it goes through his hands. It's probably going to touch Broad or the post. Makes that call, big review. I don't know if it hits the post or not. What do you think?
I thought it grazed the post, padding, yeah.
How did you make that?
Because I saw it. Hit the post. I saw it graze the post. That's what I saw.
And what do you mean? How did you see that?
I saw it on the rub sitting there.
I saw the same vision. How have you've determined? No worries. That's grazed the post.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what you asked him for my opinion, and you asked the goal umpire for his opinion. We had the same opinion. Only thing is, he's a lot closer than both of you and I were, and I do agree with him. I think he got it right.
Thirsty Camel, clanger of the week. Don't run out of your favourites. Grab your shelters at Thirsty Camel. How, in this day and age, do we not have the technology to give a definitive answer to what's going on? Seriously, Apple have just released a Google Glass or Google Goggles or something like that. You can walk around the house and you watch your memories and you're flicking around with your... And what we can't figure out at AFL, the biggest sport in this league, where the ball hit the post... Put some technology into it.
So what are you expecting, like a snicker?
Oh, yeah. Or God forbid. Yeah. Every other sport's got it, mate. Soccer's got it. Cricket's got it.
Yeah, the ball.
Union's got it. Yeah, League's got it.
The ball did hit the post, though.
Well, we would have known if there was technology. That apparently, because Broad was in the vicinity, they couldn't use it. Seriously, Skate. Put a microchip in the ball. There's plenty of technology around. Thirsty Camel Clanger of the Week. Dockers fans deserve better than the AFL is given right now, Skeeter, and that was bullshit. May have hit the post, but we will never know because we can't rely on Mark Reddings' eyesight to tell us whether what? You can't tell me that hit the post.
I'm telling you, what I saw, it grazed the post on the way through. That was what I felt. My co-colleagues, David Mundy and I think Luke McFarlane, agreed with me, and so did Carl Langdon. So we're going on what we saw.
No, disagree. Well, you know what? I'm just saying I can't take your word for it, unfortunately. And I don't think...
I'm not asking you to.
Well, you are. You are, because we don't have the No. You are, because there's no technology available to confirm it.
I'm just saying, it's my opinion. It doesn't. I'm just saying.
That's all I have right now in front of me. Your opinion, and I don't fucking agree with it. Goal review in the finals. Goal review.
I'm getting sick of you.
I'll goal review. All right, off you go. Skate, bang, see you later. Goal review in the final term. We've been through that. Amos kicked 4 goals. He's on track to kick over 50 goals this year.
That's extraordinary.
How are we not talking about him more in the Rising Star race?
Well, he was not Rising Star nominee last week.
But I don't think he's getting the credit he deserves. Now, this is from Paul Hazelby. I'm happy to give credit to Hayes. Great operator. It was in the paper. He brought this to my attention. How are we not, like, we saw what Sheasel did to start this year. I understand what he's done. He's playing for North Melbourne. Right? They're no good. He's playing in the back line. He's getting a lot of ball. Now, that's understood. That's his role. Jai Amos, in a club that's fighting for finals, is going to kick over 50 goals at this rate for a second-year player. It's not his first year, is it? Second year.
Second year.
Still viable for this Rising Star. I think that is incredible. He'll be one of the only players ever to do that if he does do it. Jesse Hogan, one of the last players to do it in his first year. He led the competition in contested marks back in whenever he did it, kicked 40-something, kicked 48, 46 goals for
Melbourne? Yep.
Yeah. I think he's having an incredible year.
I do.
Amos.
I don't think he's got any chance of winning the NAB Rising Star.
None.
Or the Rising Star. No, I don't think he can. I just don't think, I'm not saying he shouldn't be in the conversation.
He kicks 55 goals this year and he's not going to get it.
How many has he kicked?
Well,
he's certainly not in the leading goal. He hasn't kicked 30 yet.
Okay.
So you're saying you think he kicked 55?
I think he's averaging just under 3 goals a game at the moment. So there's 12 goals. There's 12 games remaining. What's that give you? 36. So do you reckon he's kicked? 14?
Well, yeah, possibly. Yeah, he would have. Jaden's onto that.
He kicked 19. Oh, he might kick 60 then, Skate.
Oh, give me a spell. Anyway, I don't think he's having a really good season. I don't disagree with that, and you can see his confidence. He's one of those players. He took an early mark, kicked an early goal.
I've just been impressed. Like
She's footy now.
It's meant to be a compliment. He doesn't look like a young Buddy Franklin, but he's doing it. So you can't argue with blokes like that. I've just been really impressed by him. No Sean Darcy spoke about that. Richmond just get it done their way. Jaden Short kicks 3 goals. Aish, of course. Forgot about this one.
Yep.
Big incident. Ryan Mansell's been sent straight to the tribunal over this. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you'll get time. I think anything over the shoulders. I do feel sorry for Mansell a bit. I don't think it was they're both coming for the footy. I mean, imagine if Mansell pulls out.
So that is his only option.
Yeah.
So I think this one, I've banged on about that. I think this particular decision is moment defining in the AFL landscape because these are 2 guys going for the footy at 100%. These the commitment for these 2 players,
and you could see it. They're both coming. Thought there's going to be something terrible happening here.
100%. So you are at your maximum speed and you are going for the ball. I know if you freeze frame it, his shoulder hits his chin. But that incident, if it's 1 millisecond the other way, he probably misses him or he gets the ball first. That's the other outcome. So for him to not have that happen, his shoulder hit his chin, he needs to not go for the footy. Yeah. So that's why this is such a big decision in the AFL landscape. Because you are now asking if he goes for 3-4 weeks.
He can't go for 3 or 4 weeks.
He's been sent to this tribunal, mate.
Yeah,
that's 3 plus.
I'm saying, my opinion is he can't be going for 3 or 4 weeks for what I deem to be. And they said all last week, well, put it this way, is that as bad as Jordan De Goey?
No.
So therefore, he can't be getting 3 or 4 weeks, surely.
What did Jordan De Goey get?
3 weeks.
Right. I hope he doesn't get 3 weeks.
No, I'm the same with you. If he cops 1 because of the concussion, I can sort of live with it, but not happy with it.
Yeah, one feels right. Incidental. Look, you've got him high and you've completely knocked him out, so you're going to have to go. But we want to have people going for the ball in our game.
It was a great contest.
We want that in our game, and sometimes, unfortunately, there's going to be head injuries. That's going to happen.
Yep.
Mark Reddings. I heard you pick. You didn't pick Freo, did you?
No,
we both picked Freo. Will Schofield, Mark Redding, Shelter FootyCast. Of course not. St Kilda defeat Sydney by 14. I picked the Saints. You picked Sydney, I think.
Yep.
St Kilda defeated them by 14. This game was a bit of a weird one. Buddy Franklin didn't retire in the middle of the SCG. Geez, you're keen for him to finish up.
No, I'm just keen to actually. You want some sort of these roughies. You want a massive roughie. Well, I gave you one and it didn't come off. But guess what? I'll go back to tipping a $3 outsider every week and see how we roll.
Jordan Flynn on Instagram says, "Can Skeet stop ruining the integrity of the FootyCast with these absolute mud roughies he places? Love you, Skeet, from a fellow Trinity College alumni."
Yeah,
So is that just putting back in the good books, the Trinity College thing? Because he's not happy with your roughies.
No, nor am I. I'm the one who's putting them out there. I look like an absolute dick.
Buddy Franklin plays his 350th game, moves to 4th on the all-time goal scorers list. I mean, if we don't, we're
going to celebrate this last year. This is last year, let's be honest.
I don't know, Skater.
Oh, well, you think Bunga's going to play on as well? It's like, how many of these blokes do you want them playing into their 40s?
Just his 22nd, this is the 22nd player ever to play 350 games. Incredible.
Gun, superstar.
Big key forward, combative. It's not like he's skirting around the outskirts, is he? He's hitting packs every week. Think he's outstanding. Look, St Kilda are one of the stories of this year. They sit a percentage outside 4th place at the moment, Skate.
Can't believe it.
No. Yeah, they're the way they play, it's Ross Lyon. We saw it the first time first game they played. Ross Lyon was coaching that team.
What you have to put into context, if you're going to sit down and watch a St Kilda game and you're not a St Kilda supporter or you don't barrack for the other side, don't bother. Because he produces the most boring, negative, defensive footy. And I say this, if you're a St Kilda supporter and you're winning, absolutely happy days. Doesn't matter. But to watch it, the two most unwatchable games this year.
7 points scored in the first quarter in this one.
Exactly. 1-1 to nothing. It was putrid. Hence, I was watching the cricket. But if you're a St Kilda supporter, where are you sitting? You're currently, just outside the top 4, as you said, and you're going to play finals. No one, I think, with the list they had and injuries they had at the start of the year, thought they could be in this position.
There'll be another Tribunal to watch list. Dan Butler for his tackle on Nick Blakey.
Yeah. Well, again, he got 1 week, by the way.
Right, so but they'll challenge that. They have to.
Yeah, exactly.
They have to challenge it.
Again, a bit like Liam Duggan, I don't understand. There was no secondary motion. There wasn't a sling action.
There's been,
driven into the ground is where I suppose it's.
There's been an overcorrection on trying to get head knocks out of the game, which I like the principle, but what's happened is head knocks ground, get reported, get 1 week. There has to be moments in our game where there is incidentally, in a football act, someone's going to hit their head. Of course, unfortunately, that's what's causing the drama. Is where anytime there's a head injury, doesn't matter how it's happened, you're getting weeks, which has been the overcorrection. But I think we're going to be really careful with this one as well. He's tackled him.
Yeah, and I keep looking forward to a prelim final. A tackle like that is made, a player suspended for a grand final, I don't want to think about that. Even off the back of that, a player getting concussed. That's why
but Nick Blakey wasn't concussed in this one.
No, and in fact he went off as a sub, but he was subbed off because of an ankle injury.
Yes.
So that surely is taken into account. But again, that's why I want a gap between the prelim and the grand final, because of there's going to be issues. There's going to be a moment or two, whether it's the player suspended or a player concussed, that misses a grand final. But in this one, Sydney just, unfortunately, from their perspective, just couldn't get their game going because St Kilda and Big Max King again kicked the sealer late in the game, win by 14 points, and they bounced back after getting rolled by Hawthorn. So well played, St Kilda.
Port Adelaide defeat Western Bulldogs by 25 points. They won in the end.
22 points.
I think, was it? Thank you very much, Charlie. Now, I picked the Bulldogs to beat Port Adelaide. I'm not sure why. It's 10 in a row.
Well, I'll make you feel better. I picked the Bulldogs as well. A 50-50 game on paper with the bookies. I thought they might be, but Port Adelaide just keep getting the job done. Their record at Marvel's amazing. Nine in a row. And again, Charlie Dixon absolutely started like a bomb, just had them going. And
he's an energy guy, though.
You're right.
Isn't he?
They've got, and I did, as I say, switching between the cricket and the footy, seeing Horn Francis kick a goal left of screen, I thought, gee, this is a player that is really going to, with their midfield, this is going to be a 5-10 year, it could be a multiple premiership winning player.
Who does he remind you of? There's one player that's just a lay down misère who he is.
Tell me.
Patrick Dangerfield. That's Patrick Dangerfield, mate. Coming out of the goal square as a young midfielder. I remember playing on Dangerfield in his first year. Because remember, he got drafted. He was still at school in Geelong. He finished his schooling as a 17-year-old and then came into the AFL as an 18-year-old. I played on him at full-back. And he was inconsistent. He was late. You know how Horn Francis gets pulled up a bit? No, he gets like lazy defensively.
I'm saying it's labelled lazy because he doesn't put the chase in.
Yeah, Dangerfield exactly the same. He wouldn't chase out. But then there'd just be a moment where he'd come out running 40 kilometres an hour, one-handed pick-up, clean as you like, three-step, balk, roll through a couple of tackles and snap and goal. Exactly what Horn Francis did. He's Patrick Dangerfield. and he looks like he's got a better kick than him. Dangerfield's kick's been a bit of a thing across the journey. I reckon Horne-Francis is a better kick than him. So I think we're looking at one of the best players to come through the AFL in the next 15 years, Horne-Francis.
And you had a big spiel, yet Zach Butters was probably best on ground again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Skeeter. He was. I mean, he's properly bumped into top 5 players in the competition now, and he's really made that jump in just he's 23, Zach Butters.
Yeah.
He was drafted alongside Connor Rozee. They got them in the same draft.
And they actually, when you're calling, I actually have to do a double take.
I can't. Coming to the game, I was thinking I was going to be calling it for somewhere else, and I was thinking which one's which. I actually can't struggle. I struggle to picture who's who in their faces. So look, Butters, he's been outstanding. Plays a massive game. Dixon with 4 goals. Bulldogs, where are they at?
Yeah, look, I thought they were competitive. They lose by, say, just under 4 goals. I thought Libba was good. Bailey Smith, some of their midfielders were very competitive. They did lack the polish that Port have got, and that proved to be the case when you've got Dixon. Finlayson kicked a couple of goals once more. He hasn't even been a regular contributor for them this year. Just finding a way to hit the scoreboard. And Sam Pepper, given his career, this has got to be close to the most even season I reckon he's put together.
Yeah, well, they'd have a lot of players in their team doing that. That's why good teams are good. All players have career seasons. Finlayson, career season. Those two, Pal Pepper's putting together a career season. Dixon, when he's been in the side, has looked as dangerous as he's ever looked. Butters' career season, Rosie career season, and then with all of that, you've then got Brownlow medalist Ollie Wine starting to build back into form. You've got Travis Boak, probably their best player ever, Port Adelaide. He'd be close to that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. 300? Yeah. He's a
played in a grand final in 2007 in his first year, and he's still going around. He's captain the club.
I mean, the Burgoyne. Yeah, there's been some superstars there.
If he topped it up with a premiership, I reckon he'd be the best ever. So you got guys like that running around that don't need to carry the football club. They're going outstandingly, Port Adelaide. Probably should have picked them. Hawthorn defeat Brisbane by 25. My bottle mart roughie of the week, if you don't mind, Skeeter.
Yeah.
Absolutely pisses all over them. Brisbane, putrid away from the Gabba. I'll pick Hawthorn. Just the people rolling out the tanking narrative are just absolutely back in their shells here after Hawthorn. You can see that this club is building. You can see exactly what they're doing. You can see the high-end talent through the midfield. You can see these young kids. You can just vision them in 3 or 4 years' time, like genuine powerhouse, because they've played together the entire time.
Maybe even before that. They might even be like a couple of years away from playing finals. And that's with the development we're seeing. They've had big win over St Kilda in the 8, Brisbane at the MCG. And they've also got, as I said, having guys like Mitch Lewis back in the side playing footy, Kaczynski. So they've got most of the elements sorted, haven't they? And the midfield, which includes Newcomb, Warple, Day, they've got the core there. So nothing to worry about from a Hawthorn perspective. And as much as any other club, I think they know on field where they're at. From a team that's not going to play finals, you look at the whole group outside the 8, taking Geelong out of the equation. I think Hawthorn is the club you'd rather be in their corner than, say, Carlton at the moment over the next 5 years.
Yeah, correct. I agree. There was a couple of other guys, young players. Mackenzie stood out to me. He only had the 12 touches, but I just thought the way he moved at stages was very good. McDonald, that was his best game he's played. Connor McDonald, he had 28 disposals on the day, 2 goals. That's a big game from a young player. Dylan Moore's a really good player, like really high end, doesn't get enough credit. He kicked 2-2, 25 touches.
Say also, not just the touches, he also hits the scoreboard.
Yeah, Connor Nash, like that's coaching, actually. Connor Nash, not really playing as a midfield ever, comes into the midfield, has 25 to 30 touches regularly now, and he's 6'6". That's outstanding. They beat Brisbane, disappointing.
MCG, why? Insipid. How? We don't know.
Insipid.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
But you know what's going to happen? They'll come back and absolutely poleaxe Sydney at the Gabba.
They're irrelevant at the moment. They can't win a grand final right now, and so you may as well be last and topping up with some talent because you're not going to win the flag playing like they're playing.
They're currently fourth. Just bear that in mind. They're currently fourth.
Irrelevant. I won't be picking them until they play at the Gabba next. GWS.
That's this weekend.
GWS. GWS defeat North Melbourne by 28 points.
And not only to tip this, I've got Hawthorn at the line. This is. I tell you my bad stories. Here's a couple of good stories.
Time. First time of the year.
No, I've just I've strung a couple together and I picked GWS 1 to 39. So
happy
days. Yeah, just now don't have to go to the bank once on a Monday.
I luckily called this yesterday on radio, and I was and I was thinking this is going to be putrid. Look, it was a good game to watch. Actually, it was attacking, but there wasn't a defensive action on the field.
No.
Either team literally got it and just ran the length of the field. It was like I was kicking, they're just going up and forward, and GWS maintained that for the game. That's why they won by 5 goals in the end. North Melbourne couldn't maintain the rage with the offensive nature, and neither team defended for the whole day. So again, this was a couple of cellar dwellers, to be frank. GWS have been far more competitive than North Melbourne, and North Melbourne were competitive here, but I wouldn't take a lot out of this in the scheme of the whole year. But it was a good game to watch.
Yeah, and Toby Green always
star.
Great to watch him.
If he has 25, I said this on radio yesterday. If he has 25 touches, I reckon I'd love to see a stat when Toby Green has 25. How often they win?
Yeah,
because he kicks 3, 4, 5 goals. He sets another 3, 4, 5 up.
Yeah.
If he has the ball 25 times, I reckon it's a lay down Mazare GWS win.
He's best on ground, certainly best for the Giants yesterday. Cornelio, good again. No, the Giants, pretty good. And look, North Melbourne,
positives.
The positives from them, and look, we saw, was it the week before, Wardlaw, who I was really impressed with. He's amongst the best players.
He's the extractor.
Yeah.
The extractor, mate. He just gets in, zips in and out, a little bit of a and then extracts the ball from contests. He's got left and right movement. Big fan of his.
Yeah, that is. And look, they've got Taron Thomas again.
He was good.
I'm not huge on him for obvious reasons. For the background there, 3 goals to him, but Larkey as well. How good with Nick? I'm not sure where's Nick Larkey. So he's kicked 36 goals for the year. In a side. And you talk about Oscar Allen's effort, which is terrific as well, with 33 goals. This bloke's in a team that's only won one more game. He's quality, real quality, Larkey, to be able to find the footy and take the game to another level with kicking goals at North Melbourne.
What's the Western Bulldogs player forward that had the elite set shot at goal? It's not Toby. It is... I can't remember now.
Key forward?
Yeah, no, he was the mid-sized forward. So he's the most accurate goal kicker anyone to play the game that had more than 50 shots at goal. Nick Larkey sits second place.
Is that right?
Of all time set shot goal kicking accuracy for players over 50 shots on goal ever.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you look at his technique and it works for him.
And he kicked 4-1 yesterday from set shots. Really basic. He kicks it 10 metres past the goal line every time. He never, doesn't matter where he is. If he's 30 out, he'll kick it 40 metres. If he's 50 out, kick it 60. If he's 20 out, he kicks it 30. He just almost just drops it over. He's like he's kicking to the goal umpire. And he's simple. Maybe give him a call, Harry Mackay. I'm not sure. Might do a bit of good, seriously.
Well, Charlie wasn't that flash either.
Yeah, correct. GWS, I think I picked them.
Yeah, got that right.
Well done.
Yeah, big get by me.
Congratulations. Essendon defeat Carlton by 34 points. We spoke about these guys off the top, Carlton. Essendon, impressive. I mean, these guys in St Kilda and Adelaide are the 3 that none of them made finals last year that are all fighting for these final spots. Are Essendon doing enough to say that they're a finals team?
Yeah, they are. And they deserve credit. Neither you or I thought they'd be in this position.
That doesn't really mean much.
No, it means zero. Given we listen to our podcast, you realise how little we know about anything. Essendon, though, they have tightened up their defensive side, albeit Carlton's putrid in attack, as we mentioned, 6 goals again there, Hall. But no, that big Peter Wright, 2 metre Peter coming back into the side.
Yep.
That's the Phillip, and he was so good last year. But to kick 5 first up, no, they've got the core of a pretty decent side there, and the improvement's been outstanding. It was really close at half time. It was 4-6 to 3-10, so I think it was a 3-point lead to a couple of point lead to Essendon, but they blew them away with 7 goals to 2 in the third quarter. Game after that, done.
Well, Carlton had the equal momentum, I reckon, later in the game, but they couldn't put the scores on the board. So that's what we're spoken about with the goal kicking of Carlton. If you get momentum in this game, this is a momentum game, AFL. So when you get it, you need to make the most of it, and they're not. And so just giving away easy losses, and they just look uncompetitive at times. They look. I don't know if it's game plan. I don't know what it is, but they just look a little lost. I don't know. That's how I would describe them.
Well, someone described them on Twitter as being like a captain in cricket that's in the field and watches the ball go through point and suddenly moves a player to point, like always just trying to plug the holes because he's not quite sure how to construct the line. Now, it's all hypothetical, but if Frost Lyon was in charge of this side, how more differently would they be playing? Big question.
Yeah.
Never know.
Peter Wright back in the side. Did you say this?
Yeah, mentioned 5 goals.
Thank you very much. He'll be big for Essendon. He's a difference maker.
It is, but it's funny because at the Gold Coast he was just there, wasn't he? Wasn't had some moments, but he's become a far better player since going to the Hangar.
Yeah, the Hangar. How good. Ed Kerno came in to tag Zach Merritt. He kept him quiet for the first half. Probably not quite enough. He did kick a goal in that first quarter, 8 disposals in the first half, but he kind of got into the game after that. I don't know how much more to say.
No, they're crap, Carlton.
Yeah, they are. Now, before we get into the preview of today's game, Skeeter, Melbourne Collingwood, I did just miss one for the Hawthorn Brisbane game. I wanted to say, Skeeter, it's what I'm frothing.
You're frothing?
I'm frothing them, mate. I'm frothing Hawthorn's development. Thanks to Frothtown. Froth.town. Get your tickets. August 18 and 19. Claremont Showgrounds. Selling out, Skeeter. I don't know if we won the golden mug to get you free beers all day, but I'm going to see what we can work there. I'm loving the clear and the clarity that Hawthorn and Sam Mitchell has given this football club. Unwavering. Remember him going on TV early days, they'd been pumped and he was getting hammered with questions. He was unwavering. And you can see what he says is happening. Like he's not bullshitting you, and you can see the talent. You can see the way they're playing. That they're playing together. Look, I'm absolutely frothing Hawthorn. I love him, Skate.
You love him?
Yeah,
okay.
I love him. I'll be a pseudo Hawthorn supporter within 3 years. I'll get the brown and yellow in here.
Isn't it good to see a team like a young side and just watching, if you are a supporter specifically, just starting to develop? And Hawthorn supporters have, they've had more than their share of good times.
Yeah, we don't need them to be looked after, do we?
No, they're fine. But if you're watching a team go from scratch essentially and work their way forward, this is a team that deserves your Frothtown moment. And we're about to do the quick preview on Melbourne Collingwood.
Yep.
I'll make my Frothtown moment today. As I said, the big freeze. The home and away record crowd, 99,256, going back to 1958 between these two clubs.
Is that biggest ever or just this?
That's the biggest home and away crowd ever, 99,256.
We've never gone 100. Is that right?
The record for a home and away crowd... Can you hear me, Jay? Am I working this out? The record is 99,000 for a home and away crowd.
I just thought maybe we've been to 100,000 before.
No, we've been to 99,256, Scully, in 1958. I think the Frothtown moment could be...
So the 750 people are rocking up?
Yeah, let's hope.
Really?
That's my Frothtown moment prediction.
100,000 at the G.
Well, very close to it.
What's the weather like?
Not bad.
Is it?
Yeah, it's okay.
100,000?
Third versus first.
Big call, Skeeter.
Well, you've bagged me for being too conservative for the first 3 months, and now I'm coming out with these...
the bold prediction.
No, this is just my Frothtown moment. If it gets to 100, we're going to get some froth. How many frothies will be flying at the G today if they get to that moment?
Yeah, a lot. That'll be very good. I like that, Skeeter. Very nice. The King's birthday, big freeze match. Fight for MMD, fight against MMD, should I say. Neil Danaher. I think this is number 9.
Been plenty. And you know what? I know a couple of people have got MMD, and he's fought the good fight, and the money that he's raised goes without saying. And, of course, there's a bit of entertainment attached to today, but bottom line is there's a big game of footy to be won. Collingwood's won 4 of the last 5 King's birthday clashes against Melbourne, won last year by 7 points. The Demons, though, conceded last week, a season low 44 points, so defensively they're well set up. Not getting Oliver back does hurt them big time. Countering that to some degree, De Goey's absence because of suspension, and we know that Paddy Lipinski comes back into the lineup for the Magpies.
First time this year.
Yeah, and listening to the coach Craig McRae, he suggested that his bulk of work in the past month is probably better than pre-season, so he's right to go. He'll be running all over the ground and on top of the ground late in the game. Hibbert back in for Melbourne. Should be a super game of footy, and Collingwood, well, they've just been winning comfortably week in, week out. Melbourne still, I don't think, playing anywhere near their best, but there's a line of thought they can win today.
Yeah, I agree with all that, Skeeter. It's a big game. It's a big game. Probably less for Collingwood, more for Melbourne. I mean, where do Melbourne sit on the ladder at the moment?
I think they're third.
Yeah. So
yeah, they're third, and they can go. Well, they're third by 3 games at the moment. They can pull that back to 2 games if they win today.
But if they lose, are they just back to the pack a tiny bit?
If they lose, they're actually equal 6th. They'll stay third with percentage, but they're Essendon on the same amount of points. So the Bombers will be barracking for the Pies today.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a big game. I just think it probably puts a bit of distance in between. Yeah, they get closer to Collingwood, but I still have Collingwood pretty firmly as the best team in the comp. So a loss just brings them back to that pack. A win, separates probably that top 3. I don't have Brisbane in that top 3 sides. It's Port, Melbourne and Collingwood for mine. You agree?
No, probably at the moment,
In terms of power rankings and what they can do?
Yep.
Is it going to be a close game?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And look, so the way I'm hearing you sound like you're going to tip Melbourne.
No, Collingwood.
Okay.
No. I'd like to see Melbourne win, but I think Collingwood will win. Oliver in, I would have picked Melbourne.
Yeah, I was a bit the same. I actually changed. I jumped off to go out. Oliver in. I thought, gee, that's a big swing of momentum for talent. No, I'm staying with Collingwood for the pure virtue of the fact that they don't ignore the obvious.
All right, so enjoy Melbourne winning today. After Skeeter and I have just both picked Collingwood, should be a good game. 100,000 people there, absolutely. Will Schofield, Mark Redding, Shelter FootyCast. The Shelter XPA X Factor Skeeter. I'm gonna throw a bit of a rogue one out here.
It would have to be rogue because both teams lost.
They did. So look, Fremantle. Yeah, Mickey Walters is very good coming on as a sub, but that's not what I'm throwing out.
No, of course, we gave one to Jai Amos a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
He doesn't need to get too fat. Not that Shelters would make you fat. He just needs to keep it under wraps until the end of the season. At the moment, we want him winning the Rising Star. I'm going to throw out a West Coast player, Skater, after losing by 122 points. I'm throwing out Ryan Marrick, debut, 2 goals. Couple of shelters.
Yeah. Well,
do you reckon?
Yeah. Well,
he deserved them. I mean, he's stacking shelves 2 weeks ago, and now he's kicking 2 at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah. No, that's a big call, but a good one because Ryan Marrick, he'll be chuffed. Do these actually get to the players that we? They actually get to them.
Yep.
So how does this carton get to Ryan Marrick?
Oh, Jaden will hit him up on Instagram and say, hey, mate, where can we deliver these? And we'll deliver him the shelters.
Very good.
Yeah. What do you think? We're just making things up here?
Yeah, I thought we were just pretending to give stuff away. But he's obviously staying with his host family, so maybe the
hosties can get into
the hosties can have a couple of frothies.
Very good. Shelter XPAs, bloody good beer actually. And we are giving them away.
No, I didn't know. I just thought it was a bit of bullshit we said just to get people excited. That
might need to do a disclaimer. All giveaways are absolutely false. And anything we do or say on this podcast cannot be used in a court of law. Now,
what else?
Tom on YouTube, finishing us off, Skater. Boys, I would have contacted you somewhere else, but guess YouTube comments will have to do. Okay, so if you'd like to get in touch with us, we'll see it all. So you can comment on the YouTube channel. You can send us an email, hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. Will get to us. There's an email, which I should have at the bottom of the thing, but I don't. FootyCast@shelterbrewing.com.au will get to us. If you put a comment on the Instagram, we'll get them all.
I'll see none of it, but it'll come my way through via you.
So this is from Tom. He's a Crows fan. This is on YouTube.
Yep.
Just got back from the game, so he was there, and it was in Sippet by West Coast. However, I can't understand the flack Simo was getting in the media, so I thought I'd speak about this given what I said at the top of the show. Any coach would struggle with the list and the current ongoing injury crisis. To be blunt, more blame needs to be laid on list management, the board, footy department, etc., for allowing this mess in the first place. List management, especially for signing deteriorating players on big deals or extended deals, poor trades, and not getting enough draft talent through the door. Wasn't too long ago that the Crows were in a similar position. The club needs to blow the list up, keep some experience around, make harsh decisions, embrace drafting, and enjoy watching a young side grow. Anyway, love the pod here in SA. Cheers, Tom. I don't know if Tom could have said that any better.
About to say, that last part, it really resonated with me about what he thinks the club should do. And the list management question. Look, it's very easy to pick holes at your convenience, but I will just say one thing with regards to just a player that trained with the club over summer a couple of seasons ago, went across, is playing with Essendon now, and is one of their more improved and more credentialed players in Nick Martin.
I saw someone say he's the best field kick in the competition.
I don't know about that, but what I do know is that he was at the club and training, and he didn't quite cut the mustard. Now, whether obviously, it's easy to be critical. That's what I'm saying by what happens afterwards. But there's a player in case, a player that has emerged as quality and managed to get through the fingers of the Eagles.
For those playing along at home, Jack Buller, who I've been banging on about on this podcast, he was not taken by West Coast with their lack of second pick in the mid-season draft. Sydney took him with the last pick of the mid-season draft. He kicked 5 goals, 4 in his first VFL game.
Yeah, and off the back of that,
I reckon he'll play for Sydney this week.
Yeah, fair call. And just following on, I think Jaden Hunter, playing for Essendon in the VFL, kicked 4 goals yesterday. Perth lad kicked 11 goals in the waffle before being shipped off in the mid-season draft. Kicked 5 against South Fremantle. That sparked, I guess, the catalyst in the end to be selected. So a couple of the forwards from WA making their way over to the East Coast, and we wish them well.
Their deals, the mid-season boys sign, are 6-month deals usually, unless they go in with conditions. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Buller's been already signed up for a couple of years at Sydney. Wouldn't surprise me at all, Skeeter. Not one little bit. Mark Reddings, Will Schofield, we're done and dusted. Skeeter's got his red socks on today. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to watch some King's Birthday holiday footy at work, which is always good. Get paid to sit and watch footy.
Shout out to Skeeter's employers.